Hello everyone from Perth Airport, where today we'll be flying with Qantas on the A330 over to Melbourne in economy class. While check-in queues for regular economy weren't that long, we still made use of the priority lane granted by our status. Soon we were through to departures, where Qantas had an ad for their Pride delivering A330, which is the aircraft we'll be flying on today. Although while the actual Pride plane is an A330-200, this rendering seems to be based on the A330-300, which is a bit weird. After not too long a walk, we made it to the Qantas Club, which you won't miss here in Perth as it has plenty of signs pointing you towards its escalator. Unlike a lot of Qantas clubs in Australia, this one actually has some really good views outside, although our plane was nowhere to be seen, as it was running well over 2 hours late inbound from Melbourne. The lounge has plenty of different seating areas, with many coffee stations scattered throughout the lounge too. The food was the fairly standard Qantas offering, although they did have some hot options and different salad mixes I haven't seen before, so there was enough to eat for the nearly 4 hours I spent in here. Thankfully, there was plenty of action outside to entertain us while we waited for our plane to arrive, including quite a few planes you wouldn't normally see over on the east coast. Perth is certainly home to many Qantas A330s, but unfortunately none of these ones are our plane. Eventually though, our plane did come into sight, landing here 2.5 hours behind schedule. While the livery of this plane is certainly well painted on, it appears that the special features of our aircraft come in the form of a giant sticker, which I wonder if they can just peel off when they revert back to the standard design. But nevertheless, we soon got on board. So here's my seat, 51A, for the 3 or so hours across to Melbourne. Now that we're on our way, let's take a look around the seat. This is Qantas's domestic A330 seat, and while the international configuration comes with screens at all seats, these planes can still be used for some shorter flights into Asia. The seat comes with 2 USB ports, which is nice, and this device holder where the screen would normally go, although mine was broken and wonky as it had come out of its hinges on one side. There was a standard sized tray table though, but it wasn't the cleanest of surfaces, especially having this weird mark across half of it. You also have the regular seatback pocket below this. There's a headphone port in the armrest to listen to the small selection of radio channels on offer, with this little remote used to control them. And the seat itself is comfortable enough, along with the adjustable headrest, although legroom isn't the best for people over 6 foot. There were overhead air vents too. Here's the food we were offered, being a small main meal and the Kit Kat for dessert. You can see in last week's video how this compares to their international offering on this route with QF9, with those meals being far more substantial. But by no means was this a poor offering, as the bolognese we received was still tasty, although the meat to pasta ratio was very low. Now let's have a look at the entertainment. Despite not installing seatback screens, Qantas still provided all economy passengers with iPads loaded with the regular entertainment content. While it wasn't always the most responsive system, it still had more than enough things for this short 3-hour flight, and still plenty to keep you occupied on longer 8-hour flights to Asia. Here's one of the rear economy bathrooms on board, which was kept pretty clean for the whole journey. After what is quite a short flight over from Perth, we soon began our descent into Melbourne, now landing in darkness due to our 2-hour arrival delay. Overall, that was a perfectly alright flight with Qantas. While the seat isn't the best, even when it is all working properly, the iPads aren't too much of a hassle for a short flight like this. And the food isn't too bad either, although I probably would have thought it was actually quite a good offering if I hadn't experienced the arguably much better service the day before. And while the A330 product ultimately isn't perfect, it's still far superior than a transcon flight aboard one of their 737s.